Hello everyone, my name is Alicia Jones and I will be doing a voiceover on my PowerPoint titled Recognizing and Reporting Child Abuse and Neglect in Michigan Schools. First, let's go over what will be covered in this PowerPoint. We will go over how important your role is, who else has this role, how to recognize child abuse and neglect, how, where, and when to report, and consequences if you do not report, and some other things. Other mandated reporters include teachers, school personnel. So again, this is office ladies, this is janitors, school personnel. And then medical professionals, nurses, dentist professional, and athletic trainers are included. Child care providers, and law enforcement. And there are many other people, which at the end I'll give a link and it'll be you'll be able to go see how many other people have to do this. The Michigan mandated law is step 1, you must call 855-444-3911 immediately within 72 hours and make a verbal report. This is because right when it happens, you'll have the most knowledge of when and how it happened. You want to be able to have all the details, and after 3 days, you might lose, some details that are within the situation. So you want to make sure that you report it as soon as possible. Step 2 is to complete a DHS 3200. This is a written report. It'll be able to give more details, and there's questions or stuff that you didn't answer. They'll ask questions and do things on that report, so you will be able to file it. Make sure, like I said, to include all the details that you can about the child and situation, and make sure you are prepared for follow-ups and understand your name will be confidential if you give no consent. So when you do make these reports, this will not be a go back to your supervisor and your name is used. Your name will report confidential and you don't have to worry about that. A little continuation is it is important to know when to report. Know your surroundings. You don't want to report right in front of the child or other children. You don't want to make the situation worse, or it can potentially prolong the situation if you see other children around or the student doesn't want to be around you anymore and you don't know what's going on. And then also, telling your coworker on the side isn't enough. Telling your supervisor on the side isn't enough. You need to make a report, and if you need them by your side while you're making a report and you trust them, then that is okay too. As these red flags are only a portion of the red flags and signs of child abuse, there are many more ways you can tell something's wrong is happening. If you would like to know all the signs, look up Mandated Reporters Resource Guide for information, as it can help you prevent situations from things happening longer and potentially getting worse. So some of the red flags that it can include is sexual abuse. This means lack of confidence, they become pregnant out of nowhere, they don't want to go home, or you overhear things about like genital infections or their sexual behaviors change. There's also emotional maltreatment, which is they shut down quickly, they have depression or suicidal thoughts, lack of attachments to parents. So again, if they want to stay around you, they don't want to go home, and they have scars and marks from self-harm. So if you notice like their arm or their legs have self-harm marks, that is a red flag. Physical abuse include like begs for food, wears inappropriate clothes for the weather. So, if they're not treated right and they want to cover their bruises and stuff like that, wearing a long sleeve in 80-degree heat is not a good sign. They're absent from school a lot and they're uncomfortable with physical contact. These can all be red flags, and like I said, there's many more. What if you do not report? Failure to report can result in legal penalties. You should always make a report. It can result in $500 fine, or you can be imprisoned for 90 days or more. Confidentiality and your information will not be publicized without consent. So again, there's no excuse to not report. Reporting will help more than just cause trouble, but know that you are doing a good thing and the right thing. Here's a little visual on the effects of child abuse. They can cause impaired brain development, poor physical health, psychological issues, relationship issues, substance abuse, behavioral issues, and abuse to others. You don't want to prolong the situation any longer, so make your report as soon as possible when you can. You don't have to ask the child first or anything. If you suspect it, you need to report it. An end note, you should always want to make a report when you think about child being abused or neglected. This can ensure healthy children growing up in good environments. Understanding it could be scary, but know you are doing a great thing. You would rather be safe than sorry. For more information, please read the MDHHS, which is Michigan Department of Health and Human Services pamphlet that can be found online, which is Reporting Suspected Child Abuse or Neglect in Michigan, a guide to detailed reporting. There are other guides, but this is the guide with questions that you can ask yourself, and you can have help for the future as an educator around the children. Just an extra little thing, verbal report or hotline. Again, the verbal report number is 855-44-3911. The hotline is for after you make the verbal report and maybe they don't take you as serious. You want to call the hotline, which is 877-277-2585. If they haven't gotten back to you within about 72 hours, you want to make sure you call that hotline. Here are my references, and thank you for watching.